Okay, so in the last video we talked about combinatorial coverage, and we also identified a problem with the combinatorial coverage where that when the number of clauses increase or grow greater than 4, then it can be problematic to keep track of the possible combinations and the possible value of the whole predicate in connection to these clauses. So and now in this video we are going to look at how we can resolve that problem. So we discussed about class independence, or in other words that is also called making a class active. So we need to know what is meant by making a class active. So class coverage has a weakness. So the values do not always make a difference. And when we say that values do not always make a difference, it means it is not necessary that when you achieve class coverage, that may not necessarily achieve predicate coverage on the predicate in which these classes are playing a role. So consider the first test for class coverage, which caused each class to be true. For example, with this example we studied a few videos ago, in which we have this possibility that first variable has the value 5 and then the second one is 10, and in this case definitely this value is so true. Again we have a true, and since left hand side of the predicate is true and right hand side of the predicate is also true, so this is eventually going to be true. So in this case only the first class counts. So if the first class counts, it means it doesn't necessarily affect the whole predicate. I also explained it by means of a couple of examples in the last video. To really test the results of a class, the class should be the determining factor. It means that it actually determines the whole value of the predicate. So how can we make the class determine the whole value of the predicate? So here is the definition of determination. A class Ci in some predicate P, which we will also call the major class, determines this predicate P if and only if the values of the remaining minor classes, which we call or denote as Cj, are such that changing the values of the major class Ci also changes the value of P. So if that happens, then we say that the Ci is the determining class or the major class or the active class. So these are all names can be used to this we can use for this particular class Ci. And this process, if we do this, that we can make the class do this, that it determines the value of the whole predicate, then this process is called to make the class active. So for example, we have this example of a simple predicate P is equal to A or B, and in this case if we set B equal to true, so then this whole predicate will always be true, doesn't matter what value A has. So if B is false, then A will always determine the value of B. Means if B is false, then if A is false, then B the whole predicate will be false, and if A is true, then the whole predicate will be true. So by setting B to false, we make A as the determining class for this predicate, and in this case A will be an active class in this predicate. It means by setting the value of some of the classes, we can make another class which is also in that predicate to be a determining class or the active class. In the same way, you can also have a look on this predicate. Here you can see if we set the value of B equal to false, then P is always false, and if we set B equal to true, then A will determine. If A is true, then the whole predicate will be true, and if A is false, then the whole predicate will be false. It means in this predicate, if we set the value of B to false, then A will be the determining or the active clause in this predicate. So determining predicates goal is to find tests for each clause when the clause determines the value of the predicate. So this is how we can make classes determine the predicate if we make the class to be a determining clause in the predicate. So this is formalized in a family of several criteria that have subtle but very important differences, and we will definitely discuss these in the next few videos. So thank you for this for your time in this video, and if you like the video, then